Occupied Ukraine is aflame and evacuating its civilians. Russia's wholesale departure can't come soon enough for frontline town Orikhiv, ravaged by Moscow, where 4 missiles hit on Thursday alone. Rescuers left guessing what the constant bangs mean and have done.
See people just down the road here carrying on life as per normal despite dust in the sky around us. Наші, скажімо, да?
Не стоянки, це може бути не наші.
Не наші.
Може бути, да.
And may not be, in fact,
Тому що наші
outgoing.
Отсюда може ще кілометра 3 стоять і все, остання лінія. Тут любе время дня і ночі. Тут не вибирають іменно там в 5 або в 6.
He's saying it doesn't particularly a time of day when these sort of things start. Could be any time at all, frankly.
As dusk falls, the sky is lit in a duel. All they can do here to stay alive is read the horizon. Some of it perhaps further south into occupied areas than a week earlier. But so much of it also very close. Dawn is often jarring. We hear a jet overhead, the slowly building, grating sound of damage moving towards you. A missile, a $500,000 Kh-31, Ukrainian officials later say, lands just 700 yards away.
Yeah, go. I was on the floor, buddy.
Another blast follows. Either jet entrails or anti-aircraft fire settle to shape a Z in the air, the symbol of Russia's invasion. It is soon gone. The damage it leaves, though, isn't. This is where it hit, or missed.
Down here you can get a feeling of just how massively brutal Russian firepower can be, and also how indiscriminate. I can still smell the explosive down here, and you're kind of left wondering where the obvious military target is.
At the end of this road is Polohi, one of the towns Russia has said it is evacuating. We are just 1 mile from Russian frontline positions here, a world torn apart as Moscow tries to hold Ukraine back.
Well, no more than 10 miles in that direction are the first towns that Russian occupying forces say they're going to be evacuating because of the Ukrainian counter-offensive. But look at here, the last town really held by Ukraine, absolutely battered. And so few people left here, there's little need to evacuate.
Where there were once 3,000, there are 200 people trying to stay, says Raisa.
Ми не виїзні, виїхати від селя нічим. Оце тільки те, що виживаємо за счет гуманітарки, що нам привозять.
Caught in these wide open spaces where a distant bang can suddenly alter life in an instant.
Joining us now to discuss is CNN military analyst, Lieutenant General Mark Heyertling. Thank you so much. I love talking to you in the morning because you give such good analysis. I want to ask you first about Russia, which has scaled back its Victory Day, which wouldn't seem like a big deal, except they've had someone, we don't know who, had a drone hit the Kremlin. And then, of course, you have this war going on in the background that they tried to tell their citizens wasn't a war at first. It was even illegal to say the word. So what does it tell you about this display where there's just a single tank on the ground and then you see the young soldiers there as well?
Sarah, it's great to talk to you too. And when I woke up to the pictures of the May Day parade, I was just appalled. I mean, it was fascinating to see what little they were doing in a parade that's supposed to capture the imagination and the heritage of the old Soviet Union. It was, I mean, it was just laughable to have one tank with a Soviet flag. They did have other vehicles, but they were old. They were trucks. There weren't any combat equipment in there other than their launchers for some of their ballistic missiles. So it just gives an indicator of how much trouble Russia is in. And Nick Payton-Walsh's commentary just now about the missiles that are continuing to miss the mark, to go into cities where they're hitting buildings that civilians live in, but not having any kind of military effect, really is a commentary on a lack of something we in the military call precise targeting. Artillerymen and missileers work at this very hard to get their rockets on a specific target, and it just seems to me like Russia is firing these arbitrarily at different locations. The very fact that Nick was standing in a hole that was nowhere near any target tells me everything I need to know about how poor the Russians are still conducting this campaign.
Yeah, and of course, some would argue that they are purposely hitting some areas where civilians are. I do want to mention something that you just talked about. Ukraine's military says it intercepted 23 of 25 Russian cruise missiles. So again, to your point, they are able to sort of thwart some of the attacks. I want to go back to the parade and something that we heard from the head of Russia's Wagner mercenary force. First, that force threatened to stop fighting, to pull its fighters back because there was not enough ammunition. So it tells you a little something about where they are. And now the head of that force is criticizing the Kremlin for even having this parade. Here's what he said. He said, "Victory Day is the victory of our grandfathers." This is the part that really gets you. We haven't earned that victory 1 millimeter. Does that really tell you what's happening in Ukraine at this point in time?
You know, sir, I've been following the drama that's existed between Prigozhin, Shoigu, who's the defense ministry of Russia, Gerasimov, who's the equivalent of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and Putin. And this has just been political intrigue inside of the Kremlin that's burst out into the open. The Russians are seeing this. The world is seeing this. There's this individual who has no military background. That's Prigozhin. He is not a soldier. He knows very little about soldiering, just throwing meat at the Ukrainians and killing a lot of Russians, and then proclaiming that he's not getting support. It's just amazing to me, a lack of professionalism, and the fact that Russian generals, who aren't very good by my assessment, based on personal conversations and also what I'm watching, are allowing this to happen, and that Mr. Putin is using this as a strategy to stoke things inside the Kremlin.
Mark Hurtling, always a pleasure to speak with you. And I just want to mention we are seeing pictures of Bakhmut there, which has been under siege for many weeks now.